right, stop scrolling for a second because this one is actually worth your time. Arsenal have been offered the chance to sign Eduardo Camavinga from Real Madrid. Yes, that Camavinga, the same guy who has been lifting trophies at the Bernabeu for the last few years. And the price? Around £60 million for a 23-year-old French international with Champions League experience. Let that sit for a moment. Now, before you get too excited or too skeptical, let's break this whole thing down properly, because there's a lot going on here, and not all of it is straightforward. So what actually happened? According to reports, Camavinga's camp, meaning his representatives, have reached out to Arsenal and offered them the chance to sign him this summer. This is important. Arsenal didn't go knocking on Madrid's door begging for him. The offer came to them. That tells you something. It tells you that Camavinga's people know his time at Real Madrid might be coming to an end, and they're already testing the market. They want to find him a new home before the summer chaos begins. Reports confirm that Liverpool have already shown the most advanced interest so far, and his future at Madrid is genuinely in doubt. Team talk. So Arsenal are not the only club in this conversation. Not even close. It was revealed as far back as March 18th that both Liverpool and Manchester United were put on alert after intermediaries confirmed Camavinga would be available this summer. One football. So this has been building for a while. It just feels more real now that Arsenal's name is in the mix. Why is Real Madrid even selling him? This is the part that might surprise you. Camavinga has been a solid player for Madrid. He's won trophies. He's played big games. So why are they letting him go? The answer is simple. Football moves fast. A young talent called Thiago Pittarch has come through the Madrid academy and started turning heads. When a club has a cheaper, younger option coming through the door, the older one often gets shown the exit. That's just how Madrid operate. Real Madrid are most likely to sell Rodrigo and Camavinga this summer, with Güler and Vinicius now seen as essential pieces under new boss Alvaro Arbeloa. Team talk. So this isn't just about Camavinga. Madrid are doing a broader rebuild. He just happens to be one of the pieces they're ready to move on. And honestly, that works in Arsenal's favour. A player leaving under those circumstances is usually more motivated. He's not being pushed out because he's bad. He's being pushed out because of politics and squad planning. That's a different thing entirely. Why does Arsenal even need a midfielder? Good question. Let me tell you why this actually makes sense right now. Arsenal have had injury problems this season that most fans don't fully talk about. Martin Odegaard has had fitness issues. Mikel Merino, who came in as a quality addition, has also had his problems staying fit. When you're chasing a Premier League title and deep in the Champions League, you cannot afford to have a thin midfield. Think about it. Declan Rice is the engine. He runs, he fights, he leads. Martin Zubimendi is the brain. He controls the tempo. But what happens when one of them gets a knock in a big match? What happens when the schedule piles up and the legs get heavy? You need someone who can come in and not drop the level. Someone who understands big moments. Someone who has done it before. That's where Camavinga fits. He's not coming in to be the main man. He's coming in to be the player who keeps standards high when others need rest. And in a season where Arsenal are hunting a league title and a Champions League trophy in Budapest, that depth is everything. Does he actually fit Arteta's system? Okay, this is where it gets interesting. Let's talk football for a second. Mikel Arteta loves midfielders who can do two things: win the ball and then use it intelligently. He doesn't want someone who just sits and recycles. He wants energy, aggression, and quality on the ball. Camavinga has all of that. He's one of those players who looks calm but moves fast. He can tackle hard, pick the ball up, and drive forward before the opposition has even had time to set up. His dribbling in tight spaces is actually underrated. He doesn't get enough credit for how he threads through midfield lines when given space. In Arteta's system, he would likely play as a number 8, that box-to-box role where you're expected to press, recover, and contribute in the final third. Does he do that? Yes. Has he done it in big Champions League nights for Madrid? Also yes. I'm not going to lie to you. The fit is good. It's not a stretch. It's not a panic buy. It actually makes tactical sense. But wait, there is a risk. I'm not going to just sell you the dream without being honest. There are real concerns here. The biggest one? Injuries. Camavinga has had muscular problems more than once in his career. At 23, that is not ideal. Muscular injuries are the ones that come back. They linger. They affect how a player performs and how often a manager can trust them to be available. Arsenal already have players dealing with fitness issues. The last thing they need is to spend £60 million on someone who is going to spend half the season in the medical room. That would be a disaster. Arteta would not be happy. The fans would not be happy. Nobody would be happy. So before any deal gets done, Arsenal's medical team will need to go through every single scan, every injury report, every training log. This is not a romantic decision, this is a business decision. And the medical side has to be clean before the pen goes anywhere near a contract. The other concern is this: Liverpool are also in the race. Reports suggest Liverpool have made a significant offer and emerged as the favourites to sign Camavinga. Football 365. So Arsenal are not sitting alone at the table waiting for him. This is a competition. And if Arsenal take too long to decide, Liverpool could steal it right from under them. What does Fabrizio Romano say? Now here is where we bring in the man himself, because when Romano speaks, the transfer world listens. Romano confirmed that Arsenal will definitely work on signing a midfielder in the summer, alongside a winger and a right-back, calling those three positions the club's top priorities. Caught offside, he said it clearly on his YouTube channel, and that lines up perfectly with everything we're seeing around the Camavinga story. Romano's reporting also highlighted that Arsenal and Real Madrid have a good working relationship from previous transfer dealings, which could make any potential negotiation smoother than it might be with other clubs. One football that matters more than people realise. When two clubs trust each other in business, things move quicker and cleaner. On the contract side, Romano separately confirmed that Arsenal are in ongoing discussions with Declan Rice over a new deal, showing the club is also committed to keeping its best players while simultaneously adding to the squad. Football transfers, that's smart planning. You keep your best and you bring in quality to complement them. Camavinga would fit right into that picture. The budget problem nobody is talking about, all right. Here is the honest, slightly frustrating part of this whole story. Arsenal's biggest priority this summer is not actually a midfielder, it's a winger. The club has been looking for a top-quality wide player for a while now. That search is expected to cost serious money. And when you're already planning to spend big on one position, spending another £60 million on a different position in the same window gets complicated very quickly. Budgets are real. Arsenal are not Manchester City. They have to be smart with money. And if the main chunk of their summer fund goes toward an attacker, then where does the Camavinga money come from? This is the question the club's ownership and sporting director, Andrea Berta, will have to answer. Can they do both? Or do they have to choose? My personal view? If the deal for Camavinga is at the lower end of reported figures, some Spanish reports have suggested he might be available for closer to €50 million, rather than the higher valuations doing the Browns one football, then Arsenal might be able to make both signings work. But that requires everything to fall into place. The budget, the negotiations, the medical, all of it. And in football, things rarely fall perfectly into place. Fan reaction. What are people saying? Let me be real with you. When this news dropped, the Arsenal fan community was split. One side went absolutely wild. Camavinga at the Emirates? Sign him up now. And honestly, you understand why. The idea of a player with his pedigree walking into an already strong Arsenal midfield is genuinely exciting. It upgrades the squad, it adds experience, it adds depth. It sends a message to every team in the Champions League that Arsenal are serious. The other side was more cautious. Hasn't he been injured too much? Isn't he being pushed out because he's not good enough anymore? Why aren't we focusing on the winger first? Both reactions are valid. That's what makes this transfer so interesting. It's not black and white. There are real reasons to be excited and real reasons to be careful. My take? If the medical comes back clean, you do this deal. You find the money. You make it work. Because players with Champions League experience and the quality Camavinga has don't come available at this price very often. In 3 years, if he stays fit and settles in, you'll look back and call it a bargain. But if the medical raises questions, you walk away. No hesitation. The money is too big and the risk is too real. A few questions for you. Let me throw some things at you because I genuinely want to know what you think. Would you rather Arsenal spend the majority of their money on a top winger and forget about Camavinga? Or do you think midfield depth is actually the bigger priority right now? And if Arsenal do sign Camavinga, who drops out of the starting lineup, Rice and Zubimendi are almost untouchable. So does Camavinga start games or does he mostly come off the bench? Is a £60 million rotation player something Arsenal should be doing? Also, and this one matters, do you trust Arsenal's medical team to make the right call here? Because this deal lives or dies on that assessment. Drop your thoughts. Seriously, this is the kind of transfer debate that should be happening everywhere. Final word, look, here is where we are. Arsenal are top of the Premier League. They are in the Champions League. They have a real chance at making history this season. And the club is already thinking about how to make next season even stronger. Camavinga being offered to them is not a coincidence. His camp picked Arsenal deliberately. They see the project, they see Arteta, they see a team that is going places and want to be part of it. Whether the deal actually happens depends on a few things: the budget, the medical, and whether Arsenal can move faster than Liverpool. None of those are guaranteed, but the fact that this conversation is even happening shows you how far Arsenal have come. A few years ago, players from Real Madrid were not being offered to Arsenal. Now they are. That alone tells you something. This might happen, it might not. But one thing is certain, it's going to be a very interesting summer at the Emirates.